Mathematics, Advanced Subsidiary Level, Paper 1, 2023, Part 1. Before we start with the questions, we must always first read the instructions. So, the instructions and the information to the candidates. Candidates answer on the question paper in the spaces provided. Very important. No extra paper. Write your center number, candidate number, and name in the spaces at the top of this page. There. Make sure you do it correctly. Okay. Let's go on. Write in dark blue or black pen, not any other color, not green, nothing. And make sure that the blue is dark, not light blue. Otherwise, it's difficult to see. You may use a soft pencil for any diagrams or graphs. So you can use a pencil, but don't do your calculations in pencil. Do not use correction fluid. That means Tipp-Ex. Do not write in the margin for examinations use. It's usually that margin. Leave it open for the examiner. Answer all questions. Don't leave out any question. Okay, we go on. Formula and notifications list is provided on page 23 for your use. So they help you a little bit in AS level with the formulas. So if you cannot recall or you just want to make double sure, go to the formula list. If working is needed for any question, it must be shown below or where working is indicated. Okay, so in the space under the question. If additional spaces is needed, you should use the lined page at the end of this booklet. The question number or numbers must be clearly shown. So if you go to the extra page, mark what question you are doing there. And if you don't want them to use your original question, then remember to scratch it. Or not scratch, just draw a line through it. I'll read that to you in the exam report. I'll go out, elaborate a little bit more on that. The number of marks is given in brackets at the end of each question or part question. It stands at the end. So it also gives you an indication how much working it will be needed. Non-programmable calculators may be used. So make sure that you have the correct calculator, or otherwise just check with your teacher beforehand. And then if the degree of accuracy is not specified in the question, and if the answer is not exact, okay, give the answer to 3 significant figures. Very important, but always first write down your full calculator display and then you can approximate to 3 significant figures. It can help you. Give answers for angle size to 1 decimal place. Okay, so angle size to 1 decimal place, but angles in radians to 3 significant figures again. Okay, very important. Unless a different level of accuracy is specified, unless they say to 2 decimal places, then underline it that you don't forget it. And then for pi, only use the calculator value. So don't use 3,142. This stands for pi. Use your calculator value. Very important. Before we start with question number 1, let's first go through the examiner's report, the general marks. Mathematics, paper 1. The paper was of similar standard as that of last year. The marks range from 0 to 75. It was noted that there was a general improvement in the presentation of work compared to the previous years. Excellent. Candidates are putting effort in showing working instead of writing answers only as we often seen in the previous years. Teachers are commended for this positive development and should continue to urge the learners to show working. Areas that still need improvement. Candidates are encouraged to cancel any abandoned work before attempting to answer the question again. So first draw a line through the incorrect part. If two answers are left on the same question, then this is very important, the first answer the first answer seen will be marked. Okay, so the one that the marker see first or stands first, he will take that as your correct one. Okay, so if that's not the correct one, just a nice mark. Don't scratch, just a nice mark through the incorrect ones. For candidates who use additional page for answering a question, they must also cross out clearly the abandoned work. So if you go to the extra page and you don't want them to mark in that space provided, also cancel it out. And direct the marker to the additional page. Say, see page 23 or additional page. The question number should be clearly written on the additional page. So if it's question 5C, then go and write 5C. Okay, write it then. Okay, my pen is just in ruler. Before the learner answer the question, again, if the original work from the previous page is not cancelled, then the answer on the additional page is treated as a choice and the rule of the first answer seen will apply. So then they will mark the one on the space provided. So don't forget to cancel that. Okay. For questions that require candidates to show or prove a quoted answer, candidates are encouraged to show all the necessary steps and state the quoted answer at the end. So show all the necessary steps and the quoted answer must be at the end. Don't start with the quoted answer. End with the quoted answer. Okay, so show that. End with that. Learners should not try to write answers in different forms unless the question required them to do so. Once they have arrived at an acceptable answer, they must stop there and avoid spoiling correct answers by attempting to rewrite the answer in an alternative form, especially with vectors. If it's in column format, keep to column format. If it's in the base vectors, keep to base vectors. Don't go and change it at the end. You will lose marks. Okay. It was noted with concern that a number of candidates are failing to copy the figures correctly from the question. Just the number. So please, learners who misread numbers do not score maximum marks even if their methods is correctly. So take that 2 seconds and just make sure that you copy it correctly. Okay. Learners are discouraged from using pencil when answering. So when you do the important stuff, don't use pencil. They must use a blue or a black pen as indicated in the instructions. Okay, you can only use pencil when you do graphs and things, then you can use pencil. But for your formal answering, make sure, and don't first write it in pencil and then think you will later write it in pen. No, the time is limited. You will not get time to do that. So write in pen. Question number 1. The equation of a curve is y equals 2x squared minus x minus 3. Find the sets of values of x for which y is bigger than -2. Now, I'm going to do exactly the same as last year. I'm going to first tell you where you will find it in my mathematics textbooks, y equals mx plus c. This will be chapter 1. Let's say chapter 1. It's in chapter 1. It's nice if they start with chapter 1. The name of the chapter is Equations expressions, inequalities, and identities. But this will be a inequality. Inequalities. Okay. I will even tell you where. So if you look on page 26 and you go to example 28 in the textbook, that will help you. But let's start with the question. Okay. Now, it's actually that they just want in this place of y, they want you just to substitute that. So if you're going to say, okay, I can start with this by saying y is bigger than negative 2. Or let me rather say it like this. I think I did it now more like, I just want to get, okay, here it's better. Okay, so in the place of this y, you see that, I'm just going to substitute there. So I'm going to say 2x squared minus x minus 3 is bigger than negative 2. Did you see what I did? Okay, because they told you what is y equal to. Now I'm take everything to one side. So it's going to be 2x squared minus x minus 3 plus 2, and it's bigger than 0. And I'm simplifying, doing a little bit more, too many steps. You could have do it in one step. Minus 1 is bigger than 0. Okay, now, if you look on that page, and if you want, you can. I will tell you when you can use a pencil. Okay, so if I want, I'm going to do this with, you can do it with pencil, but please not on an extra page, anything, write it there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this side and make it an equation. So I'm going to say, now I think in this case it's better not to work in their space, to rather work here, to say, okay, 2x squared minus x minus 1 is equal to 0. Okay, so now I'm going to factorize this. Now, how do I factorize? Now, let's quickly see. 2 and 1, it's in group B, and 1 and 1. And 2 minus 1 is 1, and the biggest over cross product will get a negative, and this will be a positive. And this will be x, and this will be x. So basically, I will get 2x plus 1 and x minus 1. I prefer, and that's equal to 0, just not to write it there, then I get a bit mixed up with everything. Okay, so I simplify this. I put this equals 0, and I put this equals 0. So if I say 2x plus 1 equals 0, or I'm going to have x, I just want to rather write it there, x minus 1 equals 0. So x, and I'm just going to take it, it's negative. You can all see it's negative a half. Okay, or that x is 1. And now I'm even going to draw my graph. So I'm going to, and I'm just going to, yes, let's take it there. I'm going to even draw my graph. I'm going to show the 2 points on. So it's just rough. It's just to help myself with the final answer. And this is then 1. Okay, and now because this is positive, do you see? Then the graph will go like this. Okay, doesn't matter. Okay, and now I'm just checking bigger. Do you see the bigger? So if it's the bigger, then it's indicating it's the top part of the x-axis. Do you see? And now I'm just going to describe that green. So because there's not an equal sign, that points will not be included. So therefore, I'm going to say x. Okay, I can even show you here that you see it better. It's going to be from this point to that side. Do you see? And from this point to that side. So I'm going to say, therefore, x is smaller than negative a half, or x is bigger, not the equal sign, because there was not an equal sign, is bigger than 1. We can now check its free marks for where they're going to. So if you come, it seems to me if you get this, they get you for that working. If they saw it, so please write it down. Even that part you can do in pencil. I don't think they will. The formal parts, please do that in pen. And then for putting this together and then getting your two answers. That will be. But let's go to the exam report. It's always nice that we see it on the report. What are they saying? I will now do B. There's a B also. Okay. Just want to get it activated. Okay. So, some comments on specific questions, moderately answer. So what was the problem? Some candidates could not connect the two expressions of y with the correct inequality sign. Others went on to work with bigger than -3. They throw the 2 away. Okay. While others used the incorrect inequality sign. It was seen that some answers had and instead of or. If it's connected and, if it's two separate green parts, then it's or. So then they gave you for that, and if you came to that, but then it's x is smaller than -1/2 or x is bigger than 1. And that's exactly what we got. Let's look at question number B. Show that the equation has distinct real roots for values of p. P is not equal to -5. Okay, so this is going to still be in chapter 1. As I said, chapter 1 is equations, expressions, inequalities, and identities. And that is the part where I will say is prove the nature of the roots. And again, I'm going to give you a nice example because there's different. Find the unknown value. Actually, they don't ask this one so much. I like it actually. So page 19, go to page 19 in the y equals mx+c mathematics textbook. And then go to example 20. That's going to help you. Okay. But for now, let's quickly go and we are going to quickly put this in equation. We just rewrite. And this is where they said that a lot of you are sometimes struggling with this rewriting. And I think it's especially, I'm going to now not do it in the videos, but you can do it if you are. I'm first going to rewrite it as it stands there because it's sometimes with the bringing over that you make mistakes. Okay, the second step, I will now take everything because it's quadratic to one side. Just change the signs, do you see? Because it's the way it cancels out on the other side. Okay, and now I'm going to start to organize it even better. So there is my x squares, do you see? So take a common factor, x squared out. So it's p minus 2 and it's x squared. Okay, you know I like to highlight it the same way. Okay, so it's plus, make sure of your signs. Then it's 3p plus 1. And then I'm taking the x out. And now what is left? 2p plus 3. So plus 2p plus 3. And that's equal to 0. Okay, so I'm taking a common factors out. X squared, x without an x. Why? Because the nature of the roots I can work out by the discriminant. Let's first get that. B squared minus 4ac. So remember that this is A, this is B, and this is C. So basically B squared, so it's going to be 3p plus 1 squared minus 4a p minus 2 c 2p plus 3. Okay, I'm going to work this out. Now remember, do the long, please, I do now the short way, but otherwise do it like 3p plus 1, 3p plus 1, and multiply. The short way for me, because we are in A, is, so 3p times 3p, it's 9p squared, plus 3 times 2, so this will be 6p. So I multiplied with each other and with 2. So 6p plus 1. Okay. So, and this I prefer first writing the 4 and then multiplying out. So this will be 2p squared. This will be 3p. Okay. This will be negative 4p. And this will be negative 6. Okay. And then, let's just move this. Okay, and then I'm just moving it up a little bit. So basically, if I simplify now, I must first multiply that in. So 9p squared plus 6p plus 1 minus 8p squared minus 12. I could have first simplified that. Minus 16p plus 24. So just make sure you are working it out correctly. I really want to move this thing. Okay. Okay. So basically, I'm going to simplify again. Let's see, p. So that will only be p squared. Then so it's p squared. So it's 9p squared minus 8p squared. Then 6p minus 12p minus 16p. And that will be equal to 10p. And then 1 plus 24, what will that be? 25. Okay, now in this one, because they say, okay, let's go back to the question, has distinct real roots. So distinct real roots for all values of p. Okay, I'll show you now. Now, this is this last part. I'm going to factorize. Now, if I factorize, it's 5 and 5 and 1 and 1 because it's group A. 5 plus 5 is 10. So, let's just do it. Then it's p plus p plus. So, it's p plus 5. Do you see? Squared, because the brackets are the same. Now, when it's distinct, when it's real and distinct, and you have to go again to chapter 1 and look at that sum, it's when the roots, when the answer are always positive. Okay, but they said here that p will be not negative 5, because if it's negative 5, then it will be 0. Okay, so the discriminant, if p, any negative number that p will be, because it's square, it will turn to positive. Okay, so it's due to the square factor. So how do I write the final step? Because this is very important. So therefore, the discriminant will always be bigger than 0. Not 0, because they said negative 5 is out. So no matter what value p has, it will always, the roots are always positive. Roots are always positive. Okay, so therefore, bracket, I'm rather going to say like this, bracket will be positive, therefore, the roots are real. Okay, let's go to the exam report and see what they are telling us there on this question. Okay, and then how many marks? It was 4 marks. Then we can also check in the exam report where did they give that different marks. So let's go to documents. There is the report. It's nice. I think it's this one too. Yes. Let's just make it bigger. Oh, not too big. Okay, there it is. Okay, this is question 2. So it seems to me I was too fast for this one. Here it is. Okay, it's fairly answered. Many candidates were able to handle... no, it's not composite. Sorry, I'm still not at the right one. 1B. Okay, moderately answered. Rearranging the given equation into a single quadratic equation was a problem. Most candidates could not handle the signs properly. Some candidates work with only one side of the equation without bringing the coefficients from both sides together. So you have to take quadratic everything to one side. Very few candidates managed to make a valid conclusion, including those who reached the correct steps of this. So they came to this. Others start by stating that the discriminant is bigger before calculating the discriminant. You first have to calculate it. This could not be treated as a valid conclusion. They were supposed to establish that the discriminant will always be bigger than 0. Okay, due to the square for any value of p. Okay, so this is valid conclusion. The discriminant is bigger than 0 for any values of p, and that's where it's two distinct roots. Okay, so what did they give the marks? If you took everything to one side, if you come to the discriminant, if you come to that bracket, okay, then it would have been correct. We can maybe just end quickly by checking where they gave the marks. So they gave you the marks if you took everything to one side. Then if you were reaching that you came to this conclusion, if you came to this one, I think rather this one, and then if you came to this one, and then that you say, so they were more focusing that you end with the discriminant bigger than 0. Okay, and because of that, actually just because of that square, that the brackets are exactly, that a negative will become a positive. All these videos refer to the y equals mx plus c textbooks, the #1 mathematics textbook used in Namibian schools. For more information on these textbooks, visit the Straight Line Publishing website. All y equals mx plus c to success textbooks are available in the NEED catalogue of the Ministry of Education. Schools can order these using their yearly budget for textbooks, with the process typically starting mid-year. Make sure your learners have a copy of the y equals mx plus c mathematics textbook used by the top schools in Namibia in front of them in 2025. A final point. If you are in the position, I want to encourage you to buy your own personal copy of the y equals mx plus c mathematics textbook. These textbooks are available at the following bookshops. Remember, success in mathematics comes from hard work, perseverance, and the courage to face challenges head on. Good luck with your final 2024 examination.